please stand. I'd like to ask Mr. Jim Anderson to say a prayer for us, and I'll lead us in the pledge.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come here today and do the work of the city. Thank you for this wonderful day. Ask you to give us guidance and wisdom as we go through finalize our budget process tonight. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you all for coming to this special meeting that adopts our budget and ad valorem tax millage rate for the coming fiscal year, which is 25-26. First item is the consent agenda, which are the minutes of our workshop on the 16th and followed with a regular meeting on the 16th. So if anybody's got any corrections, additions, or deletions, please state them now. Do we need to read in that the abstention?
Yes, sir, we do for the record.
Okay, you want to read that for the record? We had one abstention for a
Yes, sir.
conflict.
At our September 16th meeting, Commissioner Brett Lowry did refrain from voting in reference to having a business relationship with Grant Ridge, the developer who was on the agenda.
Okay. All right, with that, I'll entertain the motion to approve the consent agenda. Mr. Carrigan made the motion, there's a second. That's second by Commissioner Langston. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 4-0. All right, Jim, under new business, we have ordinance 622. This is our millage rate for the coming year. We'll now have a public hearing concerning that, and then we'll have a motion for second reading and adoption. So if anybody's in the audience would like to discuss millage rate, please come forward. Mr. Branch?
Branch, 1016 Marvin, and I don't know, I've never spoke on millage rates, but I'm seeing something now that I'm confused about. Mr. Mayor, you asked last meeting, and it wasn't actually kind of off topic, that did we want a tax increase this year?
Right.
And I think the whole audience agreed and said, no, we don't.
Right.
So, and what I'm looking at now, this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, to help me understand, it says initial proposed tax levy at $2,604,461. Actual property tax levy 2.596. This year proposed at 2.895 million. So is that a tax increase, or am I looking at that wrong?
Actually indirectly, yeah, you could call it a tax increase because the property values have gone up. So we will be getting more money into the city, leaving the millage rate like we proposed it, which has been 15 years ago, but it brings, I think it brought 300,000 extra into the city, and we budgeted that mostly for infrastructure road pay.
So my question would be, for as my property tax at the end of the year, next year, is my property tax going up?
You will pay more.
Will pay more?
Yes, correct.
So why, and I'm on what little I know about this, and I sit over here and listen to the county, and that's a horse of a different color. But they, and I'm gonna be proactive. They keeping theirs the same, which I know county's got money buried everywhere. Y'all heard me say that.
Yeah.
So I can't understand. So me saying that, how much of a tax increase,
We are keeping ours the same, Robert.
so okay, so that's my question.
Correct.
See, I don't understand the way that's written up.
Yeah, well, by keeping it the same, when you got more ad valorem revenue coming in, when you multiply that out, it comes out to be a higher budget item than last year. So,
So,
yeah,
so the difference would be the 2.89, 2.6. That's the difference. We've got more ad valorem coming in, so it'll stay the same. Is that what that means?
I guess.
The initial
Yeah,
proposal.
we're not, Robert, we're not changing the millage rate. It's staying the same as last year. Now, how does that individually affect you or myself or whatever? Then it goes off of
Look
your
at your
property
tax
tax,
notice, what you got.
depending on what they set as the value of your home now versus
So-
last year.
You've got school board, you've got the city, you've got the county, you've got mosquito control, all these things play a factor into your total millage that you pay in there for your tax. So go back, you should have got a copy in there that announced the meeting today on there, and it'll give you the idea of what your tax is gonna be next year, Robert, based on the current millage rate that they're voting on today, and what the other ones were for the other jurisdictions. So look at that, and that'll tell you the total in there. We're looking at a 4.6% more than the rollback rate, which the rollback rate would be getting the same amount of taxes you got last year. So we're gonna collect more taxes, but every individual piece of property is a little different based on what the value of that property is. So you gotta, whether you're homestead, there's a lot of different factors that come in
Oh,
there.
yeah, I agree.
Because everybody is a little bit different in there, but the millage rate, which is based off of in the city, they're.
And when you said millage rate, I've already been invited, to talk about this, and I'll understand that more. I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. Yes. Anybody, please come forward, sign in first, if you will, please, and then state your name and address. No, you're up. Sign in over here, Miss Charlotte, and,
Kevin Holden, 572 Jones Homestead Road. Got a question on millage rate. With so much of the housing being built in short-term rental and so forth, we're obviously bringing in more property taxes than what before as well, with not as much infrastructure being used. Why wouldn't the millage rate be decreased overall for the locals because of that?
that's called basically almost rollback rate, which rollback rate would be we're collecting the same amount of money as we collected last year. With the property values up and the millage rate staying the same, we'll be collecting, more money for use for city projects. That's, long and short of it.
But why would the city projects increase so much when the infrastructure is gaining on the property value side of it? And you get more property taxes from the increase. So I was told that like 400 something houses are being built in mid-market alone this year. And it's in the city limits from what I understand. So with that increase, why wouldn't we have a rollback at that point of the millage rate to offset for the locals? And why wouldn't you have something for the locals themselves so we can all, we deal with the tourists. We love our tourists. Tourists help us, obviously. I have a little tourism business myself. But why wouldn't you help the locals here because of our lack of business? Why don't we have like something, an additional millage or a type of bed tax, 1% that we go on top of, or nothing that, things that aren't homesteaded?
I got you. We'd love to share in that revenue from Tourist Development Council. We're not able to levy our own by law unless the county would approve it, and I kind of feel like they probably wouldn't. So we try to use the excess money we're gonna have, give it back to the community in some form or fashion.
All right, and another thing to answer the question is, several years ago, the city had a study done on what we should be charging for water. Based on what we owe. With roughly a $20 million debt that city took on years ago, thinking that Windmark was going to be this massive development. Actually, Windmark reduced the number of houses that they had already been approved for. They made it 100 less. So they're building less than they initially thought. So the question was during the budget process that went on for 4, 5, 6 weeks. We talked about, well, if we want to still maintain the rate of paving the roads that we're doing, repairing water lines and sewer lines that are 50 and 60 years old, we have to bring in more money. And I agree, we are bringing in more money on new home growth. But in order to hold the line with what we're trying to accomplish, and mainly with roads and the problems under the roads, we had to decide, do we go up on the water like the study? The study actually came back and said, well, you need to go up 3% every year. And we have not went up a penny since we received that data from that study.
Yeah.
And that was just to keep up with what things cost nowadays. Lynn Haven and the city of Panama City, they all had to go up on water recently because the county went up. They buy their water from the county.
Mhm.
So they had no choice. Luckily, we produced our own water from the river system. So specific answer to your question was, we had to either go up over here or just maintain where we are and spend the new growth. And that's what it comes down to.
So based on the water situation, am I correct in the infrastructure bill for the water was done in like the 2007-8 when the Windmark started? Is that correct? When the,
It was.
Shortly after that.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was predates.
it was before the housing crisis, from what I was told, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So, and then people said that their water, because I'm a newbie here, 21, we moved here, but I was also told that, of course, you got to pay for it. So when Windmark stopped development, people had to take on that bill, obviously. Now we look at it, Windmark has been developed in a lot of phases. A few years ago, I was told that the loan for the water was refinanced at a lower rate. It dropped like $2 million, plus the interest rate was lower because at that time COVID interest rates were low. So that would also negate that. Why didn't, I have sewer only, I have county maintained water. That's a whole nother situation I need to get into, but we
know all about the county's water.
yeah, well, that's a separate thing right now. We can end the thing for that one.
Yeah.
But with that, you have more, again, the infrastructure is not used as much because it's a 21, 22 week schedule for rentals, so you're not using as much, but you got less of a loan payment, but you got more people using it, paying towards that water bill. So why wouldn't the citizens not see that? And I don't even get city water. I'm just asking for everybody. I get city sewer, which sucks.
And I think it's a valid question, especially during a budget. But if we could do exactly what you're describing, I believe we could, if we went up on water, followed the 3% rule every single year. So you really haven't gained anything because you're also going to lose some or maybe all of the roads that we have planned to pave. Because we won't be able to afford those things.
But why would we go up on water when you have so many houses? If you look at the
Well,
loan.
you make it sound like we have so much growth that we don't need to increase anything. And
No.
that's just not the facts.
Kind of in a way, because what I'm getting at is, if you look at it, I had to go back, you guys go back, I don't know, but how many houses were supposed to be erected in Windmark versus what it was in 08, and then the increase in water for everybody, and it's still there. People complain so much to me about, our water bill is $500-600. I'm a family of 4, and we got a 3-bedroom house. We try to conserve. It's expensive for sewer and water, not just one.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty expensive,
Yeah, I haven't had anybody talk to me about a $500 water bill, unless they had an issue. Sometimes we get a call that, hey, we've been gone for 3 days or 4 days and the toilet was running nonstop.
Yeah, I've heard it often. I mean, when I coach softball and soccer and everything, we get into politics and so forth. I've heard it pretty often from folks.
That people are paying $500 and $600.
I've heard, yes, yep, sure have. I have heard that. So I mean, and even my sewer bill. I mean, my county water is like $60, but the sewer is, $120, $130, where they double it or whatever it may be.
Based on the water.
Yeah, but then you look at what if I water my grass and all that stuff, it's like I'm paying for something I'm not using as well.
Sir, you live in the county or the city limits?
In the city.
You live in the city, but you use county water?
Aha, so we can get to that right quick. So I live on Jones.
Thank you.
I
We
live on
need
Jones.
to move along. we got other people we got a 3-minute.
Well, that's what I said, we can get that later.
We got a 3-minute
Yes.
rule, so,
Yeah.
thank you for your comment.
Uh,
I appreciate it. All right, anybody else? Sir, you'd like to come up? Okay, anybody else? Okay, all right, we'll close the public hearing and, entertain a motion for second reading and adoption of the, property tax millage rate 25-26.
So,
Commissioner Hopper made the motion, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Langston. Any further discussion from the board, public?
Okay, how much do we, just an idea, is 2.6 all we bring in for ad valorem? No.
No. All right, all in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 4-0. Jim, you got the read on. Everybody sit back and relax.
Ordinance number 622, an ordinance of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida, levying the ad valorem property tax millage rate for municipal purposes on all taxable property within the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025 and ending September 30, 2026. Stating the percentage by which the millage levied is 4.60 more than the rollback rate and providing an effective date. Whereas Florida law requires the city commission of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida to pass an ordinance or resolution levying the millage rate for ad valorem property taxes for municipal purposes on all taxable property within the city limits of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026. Whereas Florida law requires ordinance or resolution to state the millage rate to be levied and also to state the percentage by which the millage rate is greater, equal to, or less than the rollback rate as computed pursuant to Florida law. And whereas the City Commission of the City of Port St. Joe, Florida, has duly considered the budgetary requirements of the city, has adopted a tentative budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025 and ending September 30, 2026, based on a millage rate of 3.5914 mills on the taxable property within the city, and has acted in accordance with the terms, provisions, and procedures contained in section 200.065 Florida statutes. Now therefore be enacted by the people of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida in special session, assembled that the ad valorem property tax millage rate for municipal purposes to be levied on the taxable property within the city limits of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida during the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025 and ending September 30, 2026 is hereby set at the rate of 3.5914 mills. The percentage by which the millage rate to be levied is more than the rollback rate of 3.4237 mills computed pursuant to Florida law is 4.60%. This ordinance shall be effective October 1, 2025. Duly passed and adopted by the Board of the City Commission of Port St. Joe, Florida, this 22nd day of September, 2025.
All righty. Moving on to the next item, it's ordinance 623. It concerns our 2025-2026 budget. Open the floor now for public hearing. Anybody like to discuss the budget?
I'll be quick. And y'all probably answer me real quick, the budget, pretty much what, is that based off of, does that change year to year, that budget? So it's whether it's more or less, it could be more or less, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this is the second reading. I know I was here the last meeting and y'all already read the budget, the last meeting, right? So the budget being based off of, pay scale or no?
It's based on the ad valorem tax revenue and grants and those type things all fit in there.
So the pay scale coming up, is, and I'm not trying to understand this.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe me, but, couple things down is the pay scale is actually in the budget as well.
Yeah, we had, yeah.
I'll leave the podium and come back to that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right, close the public hearing and I'll entertain a motion for second reading and adoption of our 25-26 budget. Commissioner Kerrigan made the motion, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Langston. Board discussion, anybody? Anybody else? All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 4-0.
I need to read this header only, Mayor.
There you go.
Ordinance number 623, an ordinance of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida, adopting the tentative budget for fiscal year 2025-26 as the final budget of the year of the city of Port St. Joe, Florida for fiscal year 2025-2026 and providing for an effective date, which should be duly passed and adopted by the Board of City Commissioners, Florida, this 22nd day of September 2025.
All right, next item is a resolution 2025-12, deals with the city pay scale. Anytime we have an increase or decrease in city pay, we have to have a resolution to adopt that. And we increased the pay scale 5% this year across the board. And so that's resolution 2025 well, it says 14 up here. Where am I?
114.
Yes, 2025-14, and on the agenda is 2025-12.
It should be 14. That's
14,
Scrivener's error.
okay,
Yes,
Scrivener's
14,
error.
yes.
So the resolution is 2025-14.
Yes, sir.
I'll entertain a motion as such. So moved by Commissioner Hoffman. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Kerrigan. Discussion, anyone? All, hurry up, come on, Rob.
Mayor, this is actually a range is what this is. This doesn't define any one person.
That's
That way, this affects all your current employees plus any future employees that you may
Absolutely.
hire this year.
Sure,
What this
sure.
is, it's a range.
Yeah,
Okay, to help me understand this, and I've heard this, I think a year ago, the same thing, but this was brought up, and I'll start with you, Mr. Manager, I'm gonna be proactive. To make me understand, if this is your pay scale now, 94,827, is that correct?
No, sir. This is a range that anybody that comes in, me or any other city manager that may come in this fiscal year would be in the range of 94,827 would be the lowest paid, 141 would be the highest paid. Same thing with all your employees. All your employees fall somewhere in that range in there between the lowest and the highest on there, where it goes on there.
It's real confusing. The reason I say that, and I'm not gonna get into the pay. I've been in over that years ago at chemical plants. So I'm not gonna get up my blood pressure about that. But what's confusing to me is for me to understand, if you go down to Parks and Recreation Service Worker part-time, it shows him a range of 38,000 to 54,000. I might want to come out of retirement and rake the 10th Street Park every now and then, if that's what y'all pay.
That is the lowest
So
paid.
that's what I want to understand. That's the pay scale, right?
Yes, sir, that is the range.
And like I said, I'm not gonna get all up in an uproar about this, but y'all kind of, looks like you're backwards on some of these, some of the pay. You got a full-time carpenter that's making the same thing as the guy raking the ball field? Or am I looking at that wrong? Wrong? Okay, let me turn back to the pay. Let me see here what we got.
we're not, we'll go down to every pay scale now, Robert. We got to move on.
Next 5 weeks.
Yeah, you got your minute.
Well, okay, so to finish this up, Mr. Hoffman, I'll commend you for earlier. I'll go and give you that.
Yeah.
But, okay, your carpenter one, if you say you got a pay scale 39.8 to 64, and you got somebody racing the ball field down there from 38 to what did I tell y'all? You're kind of off 54. You're kind of off on your pay scale. I'm not telling you what to pay, but you need to take care of your people. I'll finish with that. Appreciate it.
Okay, anybody else? I will entertain a motion for this 2025-14. No, we've already made the motion. Have a second. Okay, all in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passed 4-0.
The next thing is every year we have a dispatch contract too. All this stuff feathers into the budget from the city and the county in there. But if you're turning to page 19 through 23, we have outsourced it to the county office at least 10 or 15 years.
14 years.
14 years, there we go, for dispatch services. So for those things at this point in time that you feel it's best to continue on with that process on there. It goes up a little bit, $5,000 this year, but we couldn't get in the dispatch business.
No way. No, it's a good deal for us, and according to the chief, they do a good job, so, we need a motion for a new dispatch contract with the Gulf County Sheriff's Office.
How long will the new contract go for?
1 year.
Oh,
This year. Yes.
Commissioner Kerrigan made the motion, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion from the board?
I could talk to him next year about a more time.
Budget, you know, have a heads up.
Okay. Anybody from the audience want to talk about dispatch contract? All in favor, aye. Opposed, sign, motion passed 4-0. All right, next item, Jim.
Yes, sir. The next item was in reference to stop signs on Avenue A and Garrison Avenue. I think a couple of you wanted to discuss, further discussion tonight on the stop sign.
All right. Anybody got any comments on the stop signs?
I thought we were on Avenue A, we were gonna take a look at
At moving on the
possible,
one,
possible moving.
Yeah, I went over there and met with, that's,
yeah,
and her complaint is valid, but it also is valid at the other 3 locations. The other stop sign on A, that's homeowner could make the same, point. Then on Garrison, if you know where the old Beeland home site is,
that's 16th Street.
it's definitely, they would have a valid argument that, you know, their driveway comes out right where the car would be stopped, or if there's 2 or 3 cars. So I get it, and I told her that the action of the city board was with good intentions to try and slow down cars and safeguard kids on bikes, walking, and scooters.
Right.
And sometimes we don't get it 100% right. So I just wanted to bring it up and just say, hey, let's start thinking about other ideas. You know, I said nothing, I don't think, about the initial stop sign issue because I voiced my opinion that stop signs placement should not be political. We have a chief of police that, in my train of thought, would be the one to go out there and decide if it works or doesn't work. But we didn't go that route. We put up the stop signs and right off the bat, we have history repeating itself. For those who've been here a while, they know that the same problem came up on Long Avenue. And I think it lasted, 3 or 4 days, and took them down. I support doing away with the stop signs and spending the money and putting down the speed zones. Speed zones, for those that don't know, used to be called speed bumps, but for some reason they're no longer bumps, they're speed zone or speed table. Yeah, speed table. So if we went with the speed table, they're about 5,000 or 6,000 each. It may not solve all the problems or complaints, but it would definitely solve the issue that the one person came and brought to our attention, that the stop sign and the cars stopped at that stop sign are blocking them getting in and getting out of their driveway. So
I tell you what, put it on Harvard Street. They block mine here because, we put the stop signs out for safety. You know, for general public safety. And the car that's coming down Avenue A, it's like on NASCAR. So I feel like in order to protect, the citizens that live on Avenue A, those stop signs are necessary. Now, as far as moving them, and finding a better place to put them, let's do that. But as far as just getting rid of them, I agree with that. I want to keep the one on Battle. I haven't had any complaints about the one that's on Battle Street. And one that's in, from Miss Bertha Quinn's house, we can move that either closer to my house or move it back toward Avenue, coming off 71, coming into Avenue A. But I'm telling you, it made a difference. It deterred a lot of those trucks coming through there, thinking that it's a shortcut from 71 to 98. It stopped a lot of speeding, and you actually can tell. So let's think of something where we can move it to another, and a couple, and I think we need one more, a couple more put up, to tell you the truth. But, let's focus, let's try to focus on where to put that stop sign that's interfering with Mr. Burke's driveway. Put it somewhere where it doesn't really hurt anything. Put it in front of my alley, put it down on Harvard Street where it's blocked my.
Around the church too, is what I said. The gentleman in the last meeting said to move it, if it doesn't like it there, move it to where the church is.
That's my kind of my.
There you go.
That's Harvard Street. So let's do that, because I think that just getting rid of them and putting speed bumps, they gonna complain about that.
And I agree too. And I've had two people reach out to me that said they didn't like those being there. And of course, I've had 10 to 15 reach out that had said how happy they were. If you live on Garrison Avenue, one thing, the traffic that was getting so, steady running through there, if you live on Garrison Avenue and try to pull out, sometimes you would just have to wait and wait and wait. At least now, it's breaking the traffic up to where you have a chance to pull out safely and get going on down the road. I think it's something, I think you bring up a good idea, maybe in some places, the speed table is gonna be a better fit. Somebody gonna complain about it? Probably.
Well, I think that speed table, like for the trucks that are coming off of 71, cutting through, like
Most of
like you said, I think a speed table just on that lane. Cause you can't really get too fast going to 71 because of that
Not
curve.
far after you come in on
The
that.
ones coming through,
Yeah.
you wanna turn the trucks around, put that speed table on.
And by DOT law, speed tables, you would have to lower the speed limit on Garrison Avenue, because I don't think you can put one above 25 miles an hour.
On the speed
But
table,
because you're
I think
going-
you can go up to 35.
On the speed table you can?
Yeah.
Be a jump.
Yeah.
So I got,
Yeah,
on the speed.
so hold on, we'll get through more discussion and we'll open it up.
All right.
Good ideas on all sides. I have a Miss Bertha stop sign in front of my driveway that I deal with every day, several times a day. But, I just think we probably need to let it settle down, let it marinate a little bit. Let's just hang in there with it. And I mean, I went through, Highland View today from Highway 98 all the way to that ball field down there. There's 4 of them I went through, and that's shorter than Garrison or Avenue 8, shorter than
You
both.
will not go to the intersection in Highland View that does not have a four-way stop.
Goes through, Oak Grove sometime. You go down, Madison on Oak Grove. People have gotten used to them. Don't particularly like stopping every other block, but ours are not that bad. I would just like, let's let it settle a little bit. And I mean, we can always come back. It's easy to rip them up. And you can jerk them out in 5 minutes or less, so.
Well, I think a good compromise would be to agree to at least move that one there at Ms. Quinn's place on.
That's fine.
Let's move that one to a more appropriate spot. It'll still slow the vehicles down. It just doesn't interfere with
Is
the drive.
there anybody else besides you and the church?
Put it on Harvard Street.
No, he's the only one that'll.
Can you
There you go.
Can you work,
Problem solved.
will we let Eric work with the chief on that
Oh,
particular one?
absolutely.
And look for possibly one more,
I already got one of them.
and look for one more, if you guys work together, let's, I know we're gonna have to paint over what we've already painted in front of Ms. Quinn's, but, obviously, we've only had one real complaint, and that's,
I'm gonna say this, I have had some phone calls that people like it. You know, I'm talking about more phone calls with people that like it than don't like it. You know, so, as far as me judging, for the majority, I think it's a good thing that we're doing with the four-way stop. It's just move it for her, to convene her, and, we'll let it, because the one in Battle Street, I haven't had any complaints, let's just let it marinate, like the mayor said, and then move those, and we'll move forward.
In my opinion, I didn't think it would work. And we've seen a major decrease in speeders. But as I always said, as long as you have cars and people, you're gonna have speeders. And, I didn't think it would work. I think it's working. But we've been our whole lives with no stop signs on this road. So we're all tough on change. And it never goes as smooth as we think it's gonna go. But, I don't know. It's working. That's all I can tell.
Well, at the end of the day, we have to think proactively. We're looking at coming in front of planning and zoning to do to start our workforce affordable housing, which is gonna have an entrance coming off
We
10th
got this
Street.
neighborhood, 116 houses right here or something like that.
There's growing pains.
Yeah.
And
It's, and I know I'm gonna take Kevin's glory here, but when you're talking about speed humps, the number 3 road in the city that I get complaints about, and there's probably only 15 houses on your section in the city.
It's probably close to 20 now.
Is it probably 20?
Yeah, it's probably 20.
That's the next place that there's no place to put a stop sign, so we're gonna have to do something because those houses are, parking's tight there and people do speed back and forth from John Clay.
It's Long Avenue extension
It's a
from Mass
straight
to
shot.
Highway 98.
nice little drag strip.
But
Now,
the problem is county road. There is an argument
Yes.
that it's in the city, but the road is the county's responsibility.
Yeah, the county easement of those,
Cause they just paid.
yeah, they made that clear.
We go to calls there up until the Jones Homestead ditch that separates county and city, and we enforce traffic there. It's almost like this piece right here, this is county right here, from here to Heritage Lane. We enforce traffic here, but it's in the county.
you want to come up, sir, you had comments?
Yeah.
Now,
I was a little rambunctious in my younger days, still am. But I can tell you, the speed tables, when I was a kid, I looked for them and I floored it and I tried to jump them. Like, seriously, I promise you that'd be a bad idea. But I can tell you, like on our road with the stop, like I said, we don't have any way for stop signs there and so forth. People just, they haul butt, he'll put a couple guys out there, they'll get a couple speeders, but they can't stay there all the time. And we're a skin tag. We're on the other side of 98, south side of 98. I've had a discussion before. I don't know why we're in the city, to be honest with you, but that's the other thing we'll talk about later. But anyway, so the stop sign situation, speed bumps, they suck. It'll hurt the city because somebody complains, gets a good enough lawyer, you have to pay for suspension. Like that's what I've seen that happen in Oklahoma. I've seen it happen in Georgia. The speed bumps kill suspension. The blame on you. You'll have to pay for people's stuff out of pocket. I mean, I heard the taxpayer. Stop signs, people hate them. And like in Highland View, don't matter. They shouldn't, I mean, yeah, they can be there, but let's be honest, it's California stop all day long through there. No one
You go over there
stops.
with an unmarked and they don't even slow down.
Yeah, they're gone. It don't matter.
so you're opposed to speed bumps on Jones Homestead Road?
Oh, yes. I would never do a bump or no, heck no.
You're the first person that I've heard that statement.
I would never, ever, and
Most of them, they would beg for them.
And once they get them, they will hate them, guaranteed. They would be, if they're bolted into the ground, they'd be unbolted because they will hate them about a month, if that.
And you may be right, because they put some in Lynn Haven, or our cousin lives in there, mayor happened to live there at the time, and they put 3 or 4, the old fashioned ones that, man, you've got to slow down. And a guy's Corvette, an old antique Corvette went over it and sued the city, and the bumps are no longer there.
Yeah, it's a problem. I worked road crew before and I've seen a bunch of craziness. I mean, me and Jake talked about the the radar signs. And they do help statistically. Hey, you can also put a false sign up there that says always recording. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what Franklin does on theirs. I doubt anybody's always watching it, but it's a deterrent overall. And then,
Appreciate your comments. Sure do. Thank you.
I've already spoken on the speed bumps, I won't get into that too much of the stop signs, but, here's what I've seen in relative to Garrison Avenue. Everything's going around on Facebook, what I'm hearing. And the mention was brought up, and I'm gonna tie this back to Mr. Holden here, who lives in Jones Homestead. The mention I heard somewhere was, we need them because we don't have a sidewalk on Garrison, we've got kids playing, and that's the comment. And I'll leave it at that. But I come in from my trip the other day, when I come off, for some unseen reason, when I come off of a 71 and turn down Garrison and come back home, 2 ambulances coming from the courthouse and 2 paramedics. I said, darn, they going down Garrison, they got to stop at all of them stop signs. Somebody having a heart attack, I hope it ain't somebody I know. So I said, let me just follow them a little way. So I go on up and guess what? Y'all need to check on it. They were doing a drill undoubtedly. They already heard about these stop signs. So, and y'all might want to check them. The first ambulance, he went as hard as he could go up Garrison. Mr. Kerrigan sped by your house, but he had to be doing 50 if it was a drill. To write this down.
I believe, they don't have to stop at the stop
We
sign.
do not have.
Okay, so here's where I'm going. The next one, he turned down 10th Street, the same place we're gonna put workforce housing and all them houses. He turned down there, and one paramedic, undoubtedly they was timing how quick he gets through St. Joe's, all these stop signs. That's in my mind.
Yeah, sure.
That's what he was doing. So y'all need to get with them and see.
Good bit.
Okay, so the question is, when all that development, all the other end comes in, the Ralph Rich development, that, I mean, have quadruple houses down there, and they, all we get that congestion down there. And little Melissa's going to school, taking her young with everybody else, and everybody stopping at them stop signs that y'all putting up down there. And here comes somebody on the other end down there, Mr. Hoffman down around your house, got a heart attack on that 4th one there. How many wrecks, how many people are gonna run off road, get down there to that man with a heart attack? What, they gonna go down in the ditch to get to the other end, or what's gonna happen? Have y'all thought about that?
My answer would be to apply the same safe driving skills that they use every day when they go through Lynn Haven, Springfield, Parker.
So you
To where
want,
there's probably 50 times the amount of traffic,
okay,
and they figured out how to drive in that traffic safely and get to the patients or deliver the patient to the hospital.
So what
Use
you-
that same training here in Little Old Port St. Joe.
so what you saying, they already know, it's not, the stop signs is not gonna, whether it's in Lynn Haven or here, according to your survey, it's not gonna affect nothing.
Well, I didn't take a survey.
But
I
you
just
said, the
according to
same,
me.
you said that they're gonna do the same thing, so you can agree to that. And I'll finish with this, here's what I did see. Mr. Holden's neighborhood there, I went to, also the same day, I went to Jones Homestead, the county road. The city owns, that y'all annexed in 2010, I know the history, I didn't know it. And got all the houses, got the water, and the water rate should be down, but they're not. Now, 2 little girls come out about halfway down on the left on their nice little bicycles, and I'm clicking on doing the speed limit, and they come out and see me, they were deer in the headlights. They didn't have a sidewalk to get on, but I was doing the speed limit, I wasn't breaking the law. Have y'all thought about why a sidewalk was not put on either side of that road for the kids? Have y'all thought about that?
Absolutely.
So what, we don't have the money for it, or it's not gonna happen, or what?
I won't say it's not gonna happen, but I will say that there's always time and money. That's
Well,
what this is all about. Robert, 3 minutes, you've been up here every
I'm
time.
And
It's
I
time
got
to
one
move on.
more trip, I promise you, thank you.
Okay. All right, next, so we kind of come to, I got you, Mike, thank you. So we come to a conclusion, we're gonna kind of see how it's gonna work, let them work on,
Work on moving that one and then continue to think,
see what happens.
see if there's a better alternative.
Okay, all right, next is Tallulah CBD. All of us know what's happened, that situation. Chief's been on it since January and others. And, they're currently closed. And, I think our attorney would like us to let him, have an injunction that would keep them closed. I'm gonna turn it over to Chief, but that's kind of where we're going. We need to be proactive and, so go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, and there has been a lot of talking and speculation and rumors and all that, and I'd like to put some of that to bed today. And I don't want to do it on Facebook because it's just trolls and whatnot.
Sure.
But, so I don't know exactly when they opened up. Jim could probably tell you, but, their first inspection by ADAX was on January 29th. And, ADAX is who governs hemp food stores, which is what they're considered as a hemp food store. And on January 29th, they were issued stop sale orders on approximately 160 products. And when I say products, if you compare it to a liquor store, when I went through and counted the violations, I just counted Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, and so forth. I didn't count packages and different flavors and stuff like that. 40 of those were controlled substances, according to ADAX, or whatever it's called, that Department of Agriculture. 40 of those were controlled substances. The civilian side inspector does not have a duty to report, so that was not reported to law enforcement. Basically, they tell them, you can't sell this, box it up and get it off the shelf. On June 6th, same inspector went back for a follow-up inspection and issued 60 stop sale orders. 5 of those were controlled substances. On July 15th, she went back and issued over 500. I just quit counting. It's somewhere between 500 and 1,000 stop orders. Of those, 67 were controlled substances. In June and July of 2025, FDLE sent on 2 separate occasions, sent undercover FDLE agents inside and bought products. They were sent to the FDLE laboratory where they were found to be controlled substances. On September 17th, FDLE, along with us and DEA, conducted a search warrant based on those controlled buys that was made out of there, where we removed 27.83 pounds of marijuana, not hemp, marijuana. 2,784 grams or 6.1 pounds of wax, which is, if you don't know anything about weed, wax is a condensed form of THC made into a waxy substance that you smoke, and it's concentrated. That also was controlled substance. So over the limit of 0.03, which turns it from hemp to marijuana. So basically, for the health and safety of the citizens of Port St. Joe, had to close the store. Just no question about it. You have people going in there to buy stuff that they believe is legal, and they're buying items that are illegal. So they buy something in there from a legal hemp CBD store, go down the road, get pulled over by us and get arrested. And I don't think that's fair. Or somebody goes in to buy a CBD, like somebody I know went in and bought gummies to help them sleep and had to call in sick for 3 days because they were high as a kite for 3 days. So you have that also. And I think if the city knows that, then we need to stop it. If not, we're liable. If somebody gets out, smokes weed till they can't see and hits somebody and kills them, I think we're liable. So I told them they had to close according to 822.10, which is a building that is used to sell, manufacture, or store controlled substances, which they all were. I know they did search warrants at the other 6 locations owned by Tallulah CBD LLC, and all of those stores had the same violations. I don't know what they're doing on the federal and state end, but I felt like in Little St. Joe, that's what we needed to do. And part of that is our attorney has to file an injunction to abate, the owner of the property has to abate the problem. In my eyes, Tallulah CBD is the problem. So the owner needs to abate Tallulah CBD.
Okay. Good job, Chief, by the way. And you look at September 17th, folks, when you're talking about the DEA coming in for a search warrant, you're talking about some serious horsepower. And in the pharmacy business for 51 years, I've seen the danger and the abuse of controlled substances and what it can do. And I honestly don't know why somebody's not in jail for this, but that's for the legal folks. But our responsibility is basically like the Chief said, and I think we have an obligation to the citizens to do what we need to do. Open up to the board.
It sounds to me like they were using the license that we permitted them to have, which would supply CBD, true CBD. You know, I think they were gonna have like a, I don't know, what, vape store or something like that, which we've had before. And they operated a dispensary. Which, you know, we don't allow dispensaries.
And just so you know, every one of these violations that I read through, because I know little to nothing about CBD and hemp, I just know about marijuana. But every one of these products in that store that has to do with CBD and hemp or marijuana, all say not for human consumption. There's something to think about.
But when they sent the undercover FDLA agents and did the undercover buy, what did they actually buy? Was it?
One bought what they call house flower, which was one of the things we see.
Yeah.
Which is, they buy marijuana or hemp, whichever one they want to call it, from a distributor. It's nothing but bud. And, they sell that as their house flower. They bought that and they bought their house wax, which was, the wax that they get from their distributor that they sell under their brand, Tallulah brand. And both of those were above .03.
So you got the Port St. Joe Police Department, you got DEA,
ABT was there too. I forgot about that.
ABT, Department of Agriculture, who's the licensing part. All of those agencies working together in St. Joe buying flower or bud of marijuana plant.
Yeah, and I have no problem with CBD. I have no problem with vape. I vape myself. I have no problem with hemp, but I have a problem with weed. It's illegal. When they make it legal, I won't have a problem with weed anymore. But you can't go under one stigma. It'd be like the bar selling illegal untaxed moonshine.
Right.
We have to shut them down too. I mean, it's.
I think they took advantage of the license that the city
Exactly.
gave them.
And the city does have a clause in there that's saying if you get a license under a false pretense, then you lose your license.
Yeah.
But like Jim said, the license is just,
It's a tax.
it's just a tax.
But I want to make sure I'm clear. The store is currently not operating.
It is currently not
Because I
operating.
drove by there yesterday just to see where the store was, and it had an open sign in the window, and I did see some kind of paper stuck to the door.
Yeah,
But
we
even though it
stuck it
says
there.
open, they're no longer doing
No,
business.
they're black.
Okay.
Yeah, they're out. She sent an email requesting a second chance, and that's kind of where our attorney is y'all wanna let her have a second chance, or y'all wanna follow the law?
No, I think she's had plenty of chances. And I believe the answer to the mayor's question a moment ago is, why isn't she in jail? That's a very likely possibility. The state level operates a lot slower. They're gonna build a case against her.
And the
Then
federal,
the feds will take even longer, but when they make the case, it won't only include the city of Port St. Joe's store. It's gonna be focusing on all of those stores that person owns.
and I hate to punish an employee, and the two employees that run this store was there. And you know, they have to have some knowledge. I mean, they've been told several times, take these things off the shelf, but they end up back on the shelf. So they know they're doing wrong, but I told them they could both be charged with a felony just for working there and knowing what's going on. Because the statute says anybody that aids, abets can be charged with that crime. But I hate to do with that to somebody that's just an employee.
Sure. Anybody else on the board? All right. All right, public, I think a young lady called me today and wanted to, Ms. Carnes is here, and she has a business right next to Tallulah.
Would you please?
And,
Yes, ma'am, I
yeah.
will. Thank you. Do we put my business address or home address?
Yeah.
We can.
Okay. I have a business on Reed Avenue.
State your name.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh, I thought I just had to write it on there. Madeline Carnes, 2105 Constitution Drive in Port St. Joe. I also own 228 Reed Avenue and 230 Reed Avenue, which butts up to the Tallulah store. It has been a complete nightmare since they have opened that store. It's really affected my business, owning a clothing store, and then also our rent, because the real estate store that was on the other side that butts up to them, they moved out due to the smell of marijuana, which in my mind, I thought there's no way something can smell that potent and be legal. And I guess it wasn't. I've had to spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to remediate the smell out of my own pocket. I reached out to the owner of the store trying to see if we could come to a, agreement on the smell. It would have been a lot easier to fix the issue from her side of the building, because the buildings are very old and we share a wall. And it would have been a lot easier to fix the issue filling up the holes from her side, because she doesn't have a ceiling on that side. She absolutely refused and, basically told us that we could just sue her. She didn't care, how it affected our business. So I had to spend thousands of dollars out of my own pocket to have spray foam insulation blown on our whole entire side that butts up to their side. Unfortunately, Anchor still ended up moving out. We do have another tenant who is wanting to move in. I hope this situation fixes itself and we don't have to worry about it anymore. I really don't have an issue with the CBD shops, but I don't think that they belong on Reed Avenue. That's where our children go to play. That's where we have festivals. That's where next month our children are going to go trick or treating. There's one a couple roads back, maybe on Long or Williams, and I think that that's fine as long as they operate underneath the law. But I think that something like that just doesn't belong on Reed Avenue, and I think that this is probably our way out, a clean way out, and I really hope that we take it, especially considering all the laws that she's broken, and like Jake said, the liability of the city. I'm not gonna name drop, but I know two adults who, for laughs, went in there and got some stuff thinking, to be funny, and ended up in the hospital because they were so high. And they had to call an ambulance to get one of them, not knowing what they were taking. So I do feel like the city does owe it to its citizens.
Thank you.
But thank you, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you too. Anybody else like to speak on the subject. Okay, at this point, based on the recommendation of the chief and our attorney, I need a motion to ask the attorney to draft a injunction based on the actions of Tallulah at that location.
So moved.
Okay, Commissioner Hopper made the motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Langston. Any more discussion from the board? Anybody from the audience? All in favor, aye? Opposed, same sign, motion passed 4-0. All right, we do have a spot on here for citizens to be heard. Anybody like to speak on any issue for 3 minutes?
Yeah. That's me again.
We're gonna, yeah.
How about 3 minutes and 5 seconds?
Yes.
All right, so going back to the whole Jones Homestead Road thing, I was here before, about a year or 2 years ago about it. So I do have a petition going around for our neighbors to see about the annexing from the city. Due to the fact that, as he brought up, we don't have a lot of city amenities. Honestly, we're a skin tag off the south side of 98. We can't safely cross 98 with our bikes or golf carts or things like that. We're pretty much not the city. County water, like I said, the only thing we get from the city, I mean, we do have the city police, and then we have the sewer, which I'd rather have septic personally, but I want to know where's our steps. Once we get, like I said, I already have a pretty good bit. That's actually one of my neighbors right there. So we have pretty good people on the petition that wants to look at the annexing from the city.
I don't have any idea what the legality, I mean, I know it's legal to request it.
Yeah.
But what steps you have to go through, I don't know. Our attorney's out of town on vacation today.
Okay.
But we will, only thing I know, you would probably have to get an attorney to make sure you're going through the proper steps, bring it to the city, and then we go from there. So, I mean.
So the county had to get involved in, the county's.
Gosh, I don't.
Because I shouldn't have to do it as a citizen, right? We're just trying to look at
That's correct.
viable ways
Yeah,
of doing this.
you and your neighbors, anybody on that petition would have to jump through those hoops and, that's all I do.
Well, and I don't think the city annexed it without a request from the developer. I mean, that's how it worked.
Yeah.
Back when the person that bought the land and wanted to build it and put homes on it, for whatever reason, they approached the city and said, I want to annex this. And a lot of times they annex it into the city because they can get more, the density in the city is higher than the county, most of the time. Sometimes the county tweaks it. That's another story. But they approached the city as the owner and developer.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're gonna approve it because we get revenue being inside the
Of course.
city. So in order to de-annex it, you would have to go through the whole process, a lot like annexing it. And I would think, and like the mayor said, I'm not an attorney either, you would have to have all of the people affected by that sign off on it, because you would be changing their allowance on what they could do
Of course.
on their land. And you're gonna find that some people are not in support of that.
Well, I can tell you, everybody that went to their house has signed our petition. No one has not agreed. And I think the Florida statute, the Florida Constitution was at least 15% of the people in that area would bring it to the board situation. Only take 15%. That's what I read anyway.
Yeah, bring it to us and we'll jump, do whatever we have to do.
Okay.
We can
It's just-
oppose it or we can just say, okay, go ahead.
The biggest thing is, like I said, at the end of the day, we're not the city.
Do what
I
now?
said, at the end of the day, we're not in the city there. That's just what it boils down to.
Yeah.
I mean, we are by paying for it, but we're not paying for
Yeah.
nothing, you know what I'm saying?
Now, Oak Grove's basically in the city. If you think about Oak Grove, you familiar with
They're
Oak Grove?
more, that's right, they're on that side of 98. They're taking golf carts.
They're
and cruise on
actually in
through.
the city of St.
Exactly.
Joe, but
But
for
they're not.
us to annex them into the city, you'd have to get everybody there to say, okay, we're good for it.
Yeah.
So there's different things around, but anyway, yeah, bring it to us, we appreciate it.
All right.
You want to speak first? Yeah.
Well, Fresh, I'm surprised y'all don't know the answer to his question. And I've already spoke about the property, and I'll tell you exactly when it was annexed and why. The land.
But he was asking how to do it.
But
We don't know how to do it.
But y'all was talking about the realtor. The realtor had nothing to do with it. The land was annexed in 2010, I believe. Y'all, there was about 300 acres there, correct me if I'm wrong. That on his side and Myers Park on the other side was gonna be commercial. And then all that commercial went away, just like the Field of Dreams, Mr. Mayor. Look, do your history. 2008 Field of Dreams, that's coming next, that comes next. And the agreement was, all that was gonna be developed and it was annexed to y'all for y'all's is your millage rate.
By the St. Joe Company.
By the St. Joe Company. So I'm gonna talk to him after meeting. So to get back, y'all should already do that. Now, I sent y'all an email this morning. Did y'all all get
I
it?
read it, yeah.
Did you understand it or I need to?
Yeah, the mower was dragging or something.
Did Mr. Hoppins, you look at the picture?
I did, I saw it.
It looks like, and this is in my mind, okay, I took the picture and this is, now I haven't talked about that area in a while, and I'm gonna call it wetland because that's what it is. Y'all call it what you want. Now, the grass was recently cut with the mower dragging the ground, killing the roots and vegetation in these wetlands. Okay, so now can y'all tell me why this continues happening? It's pretty much in that one area. Is it the operator doing it? Or is the mower deck got a problem with it? Or why is it just that one area? That 1/3 of that from 10th Street to 16th Street, looking south. I'm gonna get my bearings right. 1/3 of that area is happening every time this particular worker I talked about a while ago, making the 38,000, is destroying it. So, did y'all have a chance to research that? Did y'all?
No, I have not. I've read the email, but I haven't looked at it.
So is it gonna stop or we just gonna continue to grunt earthworm
We'll have
down
to
there?
look into public works.
But y'all hadn't even thought about it anymore?
We
Hey,
just-
Brian,
I haven't gotten the email yet, so I haven't checked my emails
checked
today.
email.
I have work on
It
it.
probably has something to do with you, revitalizing the old golf course.
Oh, so it's a golf course now? Is that what it is?
Always has been.
always been.
Always been a golf
Yes,
course?
ever
So-
since you've been living here.
Good, good. Hey, I like that y'all.
You didn't know that it was a golf course?
I see where they put a few flags up there and stuck them in the hole and they falling over every time the wind blows. So that's part of that's a golf
Well,
course.
I just know, I've been here 33 years and it's.
Yeah, I have
it was a
too.
golf course
Actually,
there for all
35
the years.
Ding, ding.
So, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna present these pictures. So the golf course, the real golf course that the county bought, that took away from y'all for the Field of Dreams I talked about. So now that's the golf course. So I'm gonna present these pictures of y'all for the record. Appreciate it. And that's all I need to say.
All right, Robert, you've been busy.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all received the emails about the same area with photos of kids and families enjoying the golf course. Golf course.
I have. I walk it every day and I never complained about kids down there swinging the golf club. And you'll never even complain. So let's for the record,
I'm gonna continue to support cutting the grass so people can walk through. Because we had another person that, said him and his wife thanked the city for going back and starting to cut it because they like to walk across that grass and they couldn't walk on it when it was, not being cut, not being maintained.
you might want to go look at it now.
Anyway, all right, gentleman in the back, he's been patient. Does he wanna,
Are you sure?
anybody else?
I just have one quick thing,
Okay,
positive.
all right.
And I do love the new golf course, whoever fixed that back up, the kids are really enjoying that. Ghost on the Coast, and it just, there are businesses downtown on Reed Avenue, they sent out a, message about it being switched from Friday to Thursday
Yeah.
to the 30th. We are just really worried about everyone in the community knowing about that switch, because not everybody has
Ms.
social
Garland
media.
answered that.
Yes, ma'am.
We had a call from a parent that there's a home football game that.
Yeah, and I don't mind it
And we
being
brought
switched.
it to the
Yeah.
commission, and because of resources,
Yeah,
the majority of the people will, be at the ball game.
yeah,
Closing off the street,
uh-huh,
enforcement from your department to enforce that and
Yeah.
all that. The commission voted, to go to Thursday.
yeah, and I'm
She
completely
wants to
okay
know
with
how
that.
we publicize.
Yeah.
Flowers, we have flyers out and all this.
Facebook.
Okay. I guess some people were worried about, like, people like City who come down, people in Weewalt who come down. They might not shop on Reed, they might not have Facebook. I just didn't know if there was another way to make sure that certain kids don't miss out.
Website, Facebook,
Is there,
newspaper, flyers, about all we do.
is that all we can do? Okay.
It's just,
No, I was just worried about kids missing out.
yeah, it's gonna be a big event, you wait.
Okay.
Word will get out.
Okay, good. Maybe I can tell everyone in the group message that we can all share it on our business pages as well to maybe help get the word out. But I was just worried about kids showing up.
Maybe something too, I wonder if we can get the schools to hear that. If that's who's gonna be there, the
We-
kids, we can get it
To send
to Weewalt, St. Joe.
Weewalt and St. Joe Elementary School to send home.
Okay,
Just talk that through and make sure that all the kids.
deal. Anybody else? Anybody from the commission? Stand adjourned. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank y'all for your time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.